I don't want your money. I want your bookie's money.
Okay, guys, let's get straight to the picks for tonight's card. UFC 317, Topuria versus Oliveira. So the first fight, Terence McKinney versus Borshev. With this one, I'm going to go with Terence McKinney to win. I'm basing that on the fact that McKinney's a fast starter. All his UFC wins have come in the first round, and he's never gone to a decision in his whole career. He's either kill or be killed. And in this one, I'm backing him to do the killing. His opponent is dangerous on the feet, but struggles badly with grapplers and fast pressure. McKinney has got both of those things. At these odds, the line looks decent considering Borshev's takedown defense is a big weakness. So I'm figuring that McKinney is going to shoot early, maul him, get out of there quick, and make it a short day at the office. Not entirely risk-free, but it's a solid value bet considering the style matchup. The next fight, Vivian Araujo versus Tracy Cortez. In this one, I'm going with Tracy Cortez to win the money line. I think this is the safest play of the whole card. Cortez is undefeated in the UFC, except her one loss to Rose Namajunas. And she's got the wrestling to control the rounds. Araujo always live for a moment of danger, but she fades and struggles with top control, especially strong top control. Cortez doesn't really take risks. She sticks to the game plan, racks up time on top, and wins rounds. At 4 for 11, it's not flashy, but it was priced right for a reliable grinder doing what she does best. So in this fight, we're taking consistency over the chaos. Up next, it's Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. In this fight, I'm taking Moicano by submission. Moicano's got 10 wins by submission and doesn't really need much time to find your neck. He's pretty slick on the ground, he's patient and deadly once he gets control. His opponent isn't a slouch either, but he's coming off 2 pretty bad knockout losses, and as he's getting older, he's slowing down. His last submission loss was years ago, but his cardio isn't what he used to be, and his reactions are starting to fade. Moicano's style is tailor-made for an opponent like him. So at these odds, it's still unlikely, but I wasn't really looking at betting on domination for this one. I'm just banking on 1 takedown, 1 trip, 1 slip, 1 clean choke. That's all we need. And the odds gave enough of an upside to take the risk. My fourth pick for the night is for Royval versus Van. And in this fight, I'm picking Van to win the money line. Van's a rising prospect with sharp striking, non-stop pressure, and solid cardio. He's fighting Royval, who's awkward and experienced, but tends to get dragged into messy fights unnecessarily. Van's got the kind of forward pace that overwhelms a guy like Royval, and he doesn't give you a chance to breathe. I wasn't thrilled by the 4 to 5 odds, but given Royval's tendency to get reckless and the short notice of this fight, I felt that Van's youth and output gave him a slight edge in this fight. Very slight value, but a pretty confident pick nonetheless. Our fifth pick of the night is for Pantoja versus Cara France. In this one, I'm going with the champion Pantoja by decision. My reasoning for that is that Pantoja is a seasoned champion, known for grinding out wins. He's 4-1 in recent fights that went the distance. And maybe most importantly, he's already beaten his opponent, Kai Cara France, once back in 2016 when they were on the Ultimate Fighter. And that was via 2-round decision during the exhibition tournament. And in this case, I believe that familiarity matters. Pantoja controls people with wrestling. He has the better cardio and knows how to manage a pace over 5 rounds. Whereas Kara France is sharp and explosive, but with Pantoja's experience and previous win, I feel that's going to give him enough of an edge for this fight. There's about a 65% implied chance, which is a solid value on the most likely outcome in this fight, which is a safe grind from the champion. Now, on to the main event. Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. For this main event, I've actually got 2 picks, one on each fighter. First, we're going with Ilia Topuria by knockout. That's based on the fact that Topuria just knocked out Vulcan Holloway back-to-back. And no one's ever put away those 2 guys the way he did it, back-to-back that easily. And now he's fighting Oliveira, who's been finished in 8 out of his 10 losses. 4 of those were by knockout. So the knockout price, the odds, they seem a bit short when you look at them at first. But then when you take into account how hittable Charles actually is and how sharp and ever improving Topuria's striking is getting, that line starts to look a bit soft. I figured the real odds of a knockout were closer to 3 to 4 or worse. That's an edge because there's too much power versus too fragile a target in Charles. And my last pick of the night is Charles Oliveira by submission. With odds of 17 to 2, this was a pure value play. Oliveira has got 16 UFC submission wins, which is more than anyone in history. And it's always his most dangerous weapon and comes out when you least expect it. Topuria has never faced someone with Charles's jiu-jitsu credentials and experience, especially off of his back. I'm not betting on Charles to win in a decision or a war. I think if he's going to win this one, he's going to find a window where the fight hits the mat and Charles throws up something like a triangle or armbar or whatnot. At these odds, the price is way too big for the most likely path that Oliveira actually has to win the fight. And it doesn't even need to be that it's a likely outcome. It just needs to be that he's a live underdog, which I believe he is. And if this comes through, all the other bets I've made for tonight can lose, and this card will still be very profitable. For that reason alone, I thought it's worth putting money on this outcome.